Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Josre, and it's been a long time since I uploaded, but I want to try to revive this channel, so that's why I'm back. Yes, I am a self-published author living in Nigeria. I have self-published about 4 books now, and now I just signed to a major publisher in my country, and it's been a big change, but I won't just talk about it. I just want to sit down um, and talk about why I left self-publishing to traditional publishing. And I really want to point out that first of all, I want to say I'm not leaving self-publishing completely. My pen name Jure is still under self-publishing. I signed with it's an African publishing house, so they want to put African centered books and they want the author to really identify African Nigeria. So I have to put a native African name, which I don't mind. Just where I write dark romance, so I don't think many Nigerian readers are ready for dark romance. I don't think the publishing house does. But let's see. So I wrote down some notes here so that I will not forget my points. I really want to talk about why I left self-publishing, whether it was the right call, the transition period, my mindset now. I just really want to just talk about my journey so far. Yeah, so stick with me if this is something you're interested in. So I'm going to be looking down a lot at my notes, so please just permit me to do that. So why I chose self-publishing in the beginning is the fact of how much control you have in your work. There's no gatekeeping. You are the publisher, you are the author, you are everything. You make the first and the last decision. And at the beginning, I'm going to be honest, I genuinely love that control and I learned a lot. I'm not going to lie. I learned a lot and I actually promoted self-publishing to many people, many of my other friends. I pushed into self-publishing because there is something, everything about it belongs to you. You own the cover, you make every decision. You're not just the writer, you're also the brains behind this, you're the company, you're the brand. But we have to see admit the cons of self-publishing that is very, very expensive. But that is not why I actually went into it because I'm actually slowly getting profit from my work, but I was still able to put that into my back into my book. So my book's already paying for itself, if that makes sense. So not necessarily the cost drove me to self-publishing, but there was a particular point in my life where I didn't have the if people don't know, I'm an introvert. Okay. I like being home alone, just lying down in bed, scrolling to my phone, not talking to anybody. I don't really like social media like that. It's been a while I posted on TikTok. I have to start posting on TikTok right now, Sif, because I have lots of things to do. But so the marketing part didn't appeal to me because it was very draining and very, very unfulfilling because I felt I was always selling to people. I was always on people shoving my book on people's face, saying, even though that's the point, and you have to find new ways to do it without actually being pushy. It still got to a point I still felt that way. So at that point in my life, I was mentally drained, did not feel like writing, did not feel like being online. I think I took like a year plus break. I'm still sort of break, but I'm trying to bring myself back in. So wearing all those hats was not exhausting for me. So I've been looking at Masobe publishing house for a very long time. I've been making research on Cassava Republic as well and Creative Narrative Publisher as well. So I was already looking at reputable traditional companies in my country, in Nigeria, that I'm like, okay, I can submit my work to. And I already had the list on. So I had a book that I'm going to try to submit my work to whoever was admitted at that time. So I think Asobe was the first one I saw that I'm like, okay, they say they have a deadline around March ending, and I'm like, I have a work I scripted, so I drafted like years ago, maybe like 2022, 2023. I drafted long ago, and I'm like, can I finish that before the deadline? Even though can I finish, they wanted the first three chapters. Can I finish the first three chapters before the deadline? I worked hard, and I told me it was not my best work I submitted, but I'm like, I want to submit something because I want to say, okay, I submitted, I tried. If not work next year, I will try with another work. So I did that, and they liked it, and they asked for the full manuscript. We did back and forth, and there were a lot of changes. I think I made a video before regarding the kind of changes that they want. So when I saw the contract, I understood that they would take everything. It felt right to do at that point, because at that point I sat down to write. I realized I spent the entire day on when you're wearing so many hats. You are the social media, you are the campaign manager, you are that, you're the promoter. You have little time to write, and that's, to be honest, that's very true. And I'm working full time, have a family I need to focus on as well. That was even more draining, and I noticed my writing was suffering. So, which is why I took that break. Okay. So when Masobe was opened their submission, I'm like, okay, maybe it's actually time for me to do this. Let me see if they will like my work, if they will like my writing. And I want to be clear about one thing, just is that I want to be clear about one thing, is that self-publishing itself is not the problem. The problem itself was not self-publishing. I want to point that out. Self-publishing worked for a lot of writers. It worked for me, and I'm still an advocate of self-publishing because you learn a lot. You learn a lot about the business side of it. But sometimes the business side of it can also take away the joy of the art craft. And it was no longer working for me at that point in my life, at that specific time, and with the kind of specific brain I had, because I'm going to be honest, I was dealing with postpartum, and postpartum changes the way, it doesn't change just your body, or it also changes how you feel mentally and changes your brain chemistry. So something I just needed to push that business side of it to something, to somewhere, which is why I submitted my manuscript to Masobe at that time. I also want to point out that making the decision was not just one day switch, was not dramatic, it was just something gradual, and I just had the thought, what if I didn't have to do all this? What if I didn't have to stand in front of camera and dance and read my book? What if I just not just write? And you still have to know, even if you are into traditional publishing, you still have to come out to market your book. Yes, you're not doing the most of the bunch of the work, but you still have to come out to, market your book. I have my book with Musobe is coming out on the 20th of June. Yes, June, and I still have to come out to let people know, to market, to promote, and all that stuff. So on paper, traditional publishing was just exactly what I needed at that time, and was just, should I say, an answered prayer. So yeah, I got to focus on my craft, focus on what I actually love, which is writing, and I left the administrative part, business part, to the professionals. But you have to understand there's always a but. The thing that nobody tells you about the traditional publishing is the fact you're handing over control. I mentioned that I love the control aspect, but I'm handing over. When I first got, I'm going to be honest with you, when I first got my cover review, when I sent me the cover review, the back cover, the book cover, when I sent me the book cover, I said, this was your book cover. I did not like it. And I expressed like, I really don't like it, but I'm just going to let you guys do your thing, because I love a book cover that has a couple, a person on it. I just love book covers like that. But when I took myself out of, took myself out and just started to look at it from a business point, I understood why the cover they chose worked, because it's not really a romance book, but it's more of a love story. And if you really know your genres, there's a difference between both of them. So it actually worked. The cover actually fits the theme of the book. And at the end of the day, I'm glad they picked the cover that depicts. So right now I'm still in the middle of figuring out. Whether Ashley Joy handing over that more control, because this book was done. I finished writing this book like last year, early last year, and it's almost like what it's the time frame before it came out. That's it with trust and publishing. You are not in charge of the time frame. You're not in charge of when your book come out. You can give them the book in January and decide to publish it 2 years later. You have no say in that. So that is one thing I'm still trying to make peace with, because I'm kind of person, once the book is done, I want it out. I want to start reading it as quick as possible. So that is what has been the biggest hurdle for me to overcome, and the biggest difference between indie publishing, sorry, self-publishing and traditional publishing. So this is what I'm settling with right now. This is what I want you as a writer, as an author, to take from this video. That doesn't matter which path you end up taking, whether you are taking a self-publishing route, or you are taking a traditional publishing route, or you are doing the hybrid, you are doing the both, or you are, it doesn't matter what part, as because each part has pros and cons. Each part you are losing something and getting something. There's a trade-off. So you just, and it depends on where you are at the moment, that will time whether it works for you. So there's no one right way or one perfect way to publish a book. When I did, and there's no one way to publish a book. So for me, in the season I'm in, I was in, at that point in time, I was depleted, I was overstretched, I was wearing too many at the same time, I was a little bit depressed, and I almost wanted to give up writing, especially with this AI. I almost wanted to just, like, what's the point of writing anyway? And I don't want to talk about that in another video, because how I almost lost my love for writing because of AI. But I really didn't want to let go of it. And so at that point in time, which was why self-publishing, just why church and publishing was the answer for me. That's it. And so right now, I also know myself enough to know that I probably never, I also know myself enough to know I'm never going to be comfortable with handing over my babies, my full control to somebody. That's just me. I'm a control freak for things that I love doing. But so let's see how this goes. To be more on, I'm going to be honest and tell you more about my journey as a traditional published author. So I'm still figuring everything out, obviously. So please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like the video if you want more honest videos about my journey as a hybrid author. Come up with an hybrid author in hybrid. But I think that is allowed. We are allowed to make decisions we feel is right at the moment we are in, or the situation we're in, and we just keep paying attention, and we're just adjusting and learning more. I think I don't see that as a, and there are some people that have also moved from traditional publishing to self-publishing. Let me point out that. So I don't see any part one as a failure, or one is more better than the other. I feel you just have to just pick the one that works for you at that point in time. Yeah, so that's it for this video. If you please like the video, subscribe. I'm going to be talking more about my journey as a writer and a traditional published author and all that stuff. Just a author in a trying to figure out our own path. So please like the video and just comment what you want to talk about. I'll be super happy to. If you want to talk about how much I earned as a self-published author, I'm going to bring out my Amazon payment stuff out for you guys. There's no problem. If you want to talk about how to publish a book on Amazon, I'm willing to talk about that as well. So anyway, thank you so much. Bye.